going to dominate us here, thinking you're going to speak and speak things we won't respond to. We're going to respond to. If you are challenged and the mind is feeling pain now, it's none of our problem. If you are partisan people with weak minds and concentration span, it's the party's problem.
Did you know that Julius Malema could face 15 years in prison? Did you know? And guys, not for corruption, not for violence, but for speaking truth to power. And if you think this is just about South Africa, you are missing the bigger picture. This is about silencing every African voice that dares to challenge the system. Stay with me, I'll tell you the entire story.
I will never get tired. No one can make me tired. I march forward to the victory of our people. The revolution in South Africa is guaranteed that under the EFF, this country will be the better. Stand up, South Africa. Make sure that South Africa, you are counted with me. Run, South Africa. Stand and make sure that our people understand that they need to be counted. You must be counted. You must be part of history. You must make sure that you are one of the people who are going to deliver economic freedom in our lifetime. Freedom in our lifetime. Amanda!
South Africans need to realize that 30 years since independence, Black South Africans are still not going anywhere. The economic power continues to rest in the hands of the white people. And so what you saw during this election is a referendum on how ANC has performed to date. Something has got to give. I've often said, if the situation in South Africa is not equalized, there's going to be a more serious revolution taking place in South Africa. So those results are a warning to ANC to say, you better shape up. So I'm hoping that they can come up with a government of unity that includes MK and EFF, and definitely not DA. Because if they do include DA in that government of national unity, that would be their demise. South Africa must equalize the playing field. It's a warning to ANC that something needs to give. The people are demanding results. The people are demanding change. The people know better. The people know a country like South Africa has enough riches to make sure that everybody who lives in South Africa is comfortable. And so it should be a warning to other leaders as well that you must take care of your people. We have enough resources in Africa. We are quite capable of taking care of our people. Let's manage our natural resources effectively, and let's first and foremost look out.
All right, let's talk about townships, because too many people don't know the truth about why they exist. Townships were never meant to be home. They were designed as poverty traps, created by the apartheid government to keep black people landless, powerless, and dependent on the white economy. Before apartheid, black South Africans lived all over, cities, rural areas everywhere. But the white government saw a problem. They didn't want black people in their cities, but they still needed them to work in their mines, their homes, their factories. So what did they do? They created townships. These were placed far from economic centers, meaning black workers had to travel long, expensive distances just to make a living. But that was part of the plan to make sure you spent most of your money just trying to survive. Every detail of a township was designed to keep black people down. Tiny, overcrowded houses because they didn't want you to have space to grow. Poor infrastructure, no investment in schools, hospitals or businesses keeping you in survival mode, surrounded by industrial zones, because they didn't care if your children grew up breathing polluted air. Far from economic hubs, so that even after working the whole day, you'd be too tired to think about your future. Townships were never built for prosperity. They were built as labor camps where black people could be controlled. And today, the effects are still there. Crime, unemployment, no generational wealth. Some of us think townships are cool, that they're better than rural areas. But let me tell you something, owning rural land is real power. In a township, you're boxed in, your future is limited. But land gives you freedom. You can farm, you can build, you can pass something down to your children, you can create wealth. So let's wake up. Townships are not a blessing. They were a tool of oppression, and we need to start thinking beyond them if we ever want to break free. The real power? It's in the land.
Welcome back to Irene's Tech, where we challenge narratives and reclaim Africa's destiny. Julius Malema, the name alone makes established and popular politicians nervous. The 43-year-old leader of South Africa's Economic Freedom Fighters Party has become one of the most polarizing figures in African politics. But here is what the mainstream media will not tell you. Charges against Julius Malema are not really about what he said. They are about who he threatens. And understanding this case means understanding a pattern that has been repeated across Africa for over a century. So, in this video, we are going to cover 4 critical aspects or things. Number 1, we will break down exactly what Malema is facing and why. Number 2, we will expose the real reason the well-known or rather established politicians want him silenced. Number 3, we will connect this to the historical pattern of targeting African revolutionary leaders. Finally, we will reveal what this means for the future of Pan-African liberation. But first, let me ask you something. How many of you have heard about Malema's trial in your local news? Drop a comment right now, because the silence around this case is intentional. And if this video resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. Guys, 93% of you watching are not subscribed yet. And this channel only grows when you choose to be part of this movement.
My Lord, as a younger generation in the struggle, we sing the songs those who came before us sang, to put ourselves in the position they were before. And like we said, our songs are not in any way meant to engage in any literal engagement. They are songs for that purpose of the revolution, not to attack anyone. My Lord, from the times of Shaka Zulu until today, I've never heard that black people were given instruction to attack through song. I'm still to wait for example where the masses of our people were given an instruction through song to go and attack. My Lord, the EFF was formed in 2013. This song was sang way before the formation of the EFF. And to say people are being killed because of an EFF song, as if this is in the founding manifesto of the EFF, it's bizarre.
It's the claim, this is the interesting thing that you do, is you try and create a straw man to say it's not our song. We didn't write this song, Peter McCarver sang this song, but you sing it now.
Yes.
You have embraced this song. It's part of your...
But you call it EFF song.
Is it not an EFF song?
It's a struggle song.
Is it a song sung by the EFF?
My Lord, the EFF cannot expropriate this song without compensation. It belongs to the struggle. It's a struggle song. There is a saying, when you steal a car and you pass over the car to the stolen car to your children, it makes that child a criminal as well, because it's in possession of stolen goods. And that child passes that car, or doesn't even pass that car, he sells that car to go and buy another car with the money of stolen goods. It remains a stolen good, the property you bought with the money stolen, got from a stolen goods. You are in possession of stolen property. Return it, please. Your parents have left you a very bad name, and don't blame it on us. But I asked a question earlier. Reparations are paid.
I'd like to stop you right there. Why I have the name that I have is that my grandparents fled Nazi Germany and sought refuge in South Africa in the 30s to avoid extermination. Now the witness has brought up my name and I will use the opportunity to respond to
I never brought your name. I never brought your name. I've never brought your name. I've never brought Oppenheimer's name. I don't even know his name. I don't know. I've never, my Lord, called him by name. I've always referred to him as you, and I clarified it that I'm referring to a client. When I say your name, I mean them as white people. Your parents have left you a bad name. So that is the context I'm using it. So please, if you are going to be a legal representative, you are going to have to reduce yourself from this case as an individual. Remove your emotions and deal with me as a professional. Because if you are going to come to me as a personal person, individually, I will no longer look at you as a professional. I will decisively deal with you as an individual. I'm going to be president of this country, whether you like it or not. And I will preside over the affairs of this country, including presiding over you. I think you must start adjusting to that reality. The sooner you do that, the less chest pains you'll have when that reality comes.
what chest pains would resolve?
Racist chest pains. You know, my Lord, we're sitting here with pain, with trauma, and to be interrogated by people like this, who perpetuate the segregation, who continue to promote racism in this country. It's really unfair. Thousands of children have seen their mothers being tortured. I was young when police walked into my mother's house and she was sleeping. They took off her blankets off. Men, she was not dressed up. She was sleeping. Men took off her blankets. I live with that for the rest of my life, that some strange men came into my house and took off the blankets of my mother to search if she's not a terrorist. We are still a traumatized nation, if you don't know, and that trauma is real. And don't push us to that pain, because when that day comes, we'll not be scared. I've litigated with AfriForum and Roots before, and they've never brought someone so weak as you. I think they've done the worst disservice to themselves. Let me tell you, every time we say white settlers, white people, white settlers in South Africa, it is in that context. So why would an American who came yesterday, my Lord, be a settler? We're talking here about white settlers. Why would a Russian who came yesterday be a settler? You understand very well the context within which we say all white people are racist. It is in relation to the struggle of liberation in South Africa against apartheid system that benefited all white people.
So who is a white settler?
All those who came here to come and conquer South Africa and take the land from our people.
Where?
Are white settlers.
When?
Since 1652.
Up until when?
Up until we took our freedom, political freedom in 1994.
White settlers, is everyone from 1652 up until the time of political power? Is that 1994?
Yes, 1994.
Now I'm asking about people after that date.
Those who inherit the property stolen from us are criminals. So if you come from America with an intention to come and inherit a stolen property, you are a criminal.
If it was the case that just one person was going to be influenced to murder someone after hearing you chant, kill the farmer, kill the boer. It's a hypothetical case. If someone was to be influenced in that way, would that be a reason for you not to send someone?
No, not at all. Anyone who engages in the killing of anyone because of my chant will not be influenced by my chant. That person will be driven by criminal mentality. It's an act of crime, because my chant is not a command. It's exactly what it is. If I were to give that command, I will give it openly, unashamedly, without hiding my face. So there is anyone who claims that he got a command through a song, that person will be acting out of their own sheer criminality and not because they've got a political motive. You are a bad lawyer, Shem. It goes without saying. You are a bad lawyer.
Not go in that direction and focus on answering the questions posed by Advocate Otis.
On which direction? I'm answering. That's my answer. I'm not going to be told on how to answer. I've sat here for 5 years, listened to people critique and assassinate my character. It is my turn now, and the court has got a duty to listen to me. I've listened to everybody. It is my turn now to tell the side of my story, and I plead with the court to be patient. I might be irritating, I might not be liked, but the truth remains the truth, and I will never hide away from it. If the life was in danger, and the life of human beings was in danger, they were going to go for a cover. But because they are black, they are so bastardized, you don't care about their reaction, because anyway, even if it's a life ammunition, they will never go for a cover because they are animals. That's an insinuation that I've been here listening to for the past 5 years.
Mr. Miller, the count 5 is exactly that. I'm just going to read it to you for the comment. It requires a simple yes or no, but it's up to you how you wish to answer it. Count 5 is reckless endangerment to personal property, and it says that on 28 July 2018, when at the Sisa Dukazi Stadium in Tanzania, in the Honorable Court's Division, you unlawfully discharged or otherwise handled a firearm, to wit, a .223 Narinka rifle or a firearm, the make of which is unknown to the state, in a manner likely to injure or endanger the safety or property of the general public attending the 5th Economic Freedom Fighters celebration, residents of Ndantsane and employees of Gear House, or with reckless disregard for the safety or property of the general public attending the 5th Economic Freedom Fighters celebration, the residents of Ndantsane and Gear House employees. Did you ever endanger any of those class of persons' lives or property?
These people, if their lives were endangered, you mentioned the Ndantsane people. I'm endangering the lives of Ndantsane people. Someone was saying no, because they are all EFF there, maybe they are unable to come forward. They say I've endangered the life of Ndantsane people. Who of Ndantsane people came before this court and said I've endangered their life? Who of the Gear House people, they are not EFF members, who of the Gear House people came before this court, which rejected 174 and said he endangered our life? Who of the service providers of the EFF, who are not members of the EFF, came before this court and said endangered our lives? Who of the journalists who were there enjoying themselves dancing came forward here and said you have endangered our lives? No single person came forward to say I've endangered their lives. So, your worship, which case am I answering here? Which is made by who against me that I've endangered their lives? What are they? Are they all of those people scared of the EFF? It's practically impossible. Again, I've been invited into this box to boost a weak case of the state. How do you go and sit, your worship, and watch a video the same way you watch Muvango, and you say people are intimidated on a video? Then Muvango must be very scary for you. Let me tell you, there is no one who can tell me how to answer questions. No one. Not even a hanging judge can do that to me. No one. It's not going to start with you. It has never happened. I'm answering the way I want to answer.
Which direction are you moving from that stage? Which direction are you moving? You are moving to the far right. Is that correct? And you're also firing shots towards the right where those people are standing. Can you confirm that?
I'm not firing any shots, by the way. There's no shots I'm firing. So which shots am I going to say I'm firing them from the far right? I'm not firing any shots. I've never fired any shots.
What exactly is Julius Malema facing? Last year, in March 24, Julius Malema, an EFF Member of Parliament in Doze, were charged with incitement to violence. The alleged crime: statements made during political rallies calling for land redistribution without compensation.
There's one thing that all of you must actually acknowledge, that the white people who came, all of them, poor or rich, the landless white people, all of them came in unison and opposed the expropriation of land without compensation. Because the reality is that where white interest and privilege is threatened, they protect one another. If they don't care whether the other one is in the wrong or not, why would people think alike like that? If it's not an issue of racism and privilege which seeks to perpetuate landlessness amongst those who were conquered by criminals who came into our country and took our land. We, amongst black people and Africans in particular, there were different views because we don't come from a process that seeks to isolate anyone, but we come from a background that seeks to win a debate through an honest engagement. But here you've got a group of people, not only in the referendum, not only in the consultation, a group of people who 90% of them vote for the same party. And you ask yourself, what is this? This is white privilege. This is in defense of white privilege which seeks to perpetuate landlessness amongst our people. Therefore, the black unity, in particular African unity, is very important when it comes to this. Thank you very much.
Now, listen carefully to what he actually said.
People, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies. Cry babies.
I'm not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now.
I can't give a guarantee of the future, especially when things are going the way they are.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are, there will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now. There will be an unled revolution. An unled revolution is the highest form of anarchy. Even me, I'll be a victim of that. Why? Because I've committed a class suicide. I'm no longer with them in the townships. I'm now staying in town. I'm in parliament. I'm earning a salary. When they rise, they will rise against the middle class. And I will not even stand in front of them and stop them, because they will say, you sold us out. You left us in the townships. You went to join them there. I can tell you that now. This inequality, which is growing, which the gap is widening and racially based, blacks becoming more poorer and whites becoming more richer, it's not sustainable.
Of course it's not.
And this will lead to loss of life. So I'm saying to you, not under my leadership will we call for the slaughter of white people. I don't know who's coming after me. I will not speak for them. But they are alarmists. They are crybabies. They are attention seekers. Nothing is going to happen here. No one is going to slaughter them. The farm attacks is just an act of crime. It must be punished in the same way crime is punished in the township. It's not a genocide on white people. We are concerned. Even in the farms there, black workers are killed. Why is the lives of those black workers not exposed to the world? That black workers are being killed. Is that a black workers' genocide? Should we now be alarmist and say there's genocide of black farm workers? No, it's a crime. A white man fed the lions with a body of a black person, right? Feeding the lions with a human being. Why? What should we do? Should we say whites now are killing black people, let's go for them? No, it's a crime. We have to arrest that racist and send him to jail for a very long time. We shouldn't use criminal incidences to now be alarmist and raise unnecessary fears. We're the most peaceful organization, registered with the IEC, with a clear constitution and a program of action. In any of those documents of the EFF, nowhere do we call for genocide of white people. We're going to stay in this country with white people. We coexist, they've naturalized here. I always say the call for white people to be driven to the sea is so stupid, like a call a person will make one day that we must cut all the trees in South Africa. How is this country going to look like without trees? White people have naturalized here. They live with us. We now marry each other. We go to the same churches. We work together. We shop together. Our children now go to schools together, those of us who can afford, right? So why would we call for the slaughtering of such people? We are not calling for the slaughtering of white people. We are fundamentally disagreeing with white people on how we are going to redistribute the land in South Africa to create an equal society. White people are scared of equality. They don't want it because equality is a threat to privilege.
The prosecution argues that this is incitement, but here is the context they conveniently ignore. 1913 Natives Land Act stole 87% of South African land. Post-apartheid land reform has been deliberately slow, and only 10% redistributed in 30 years. White South Africans, who are 8% of the population, still own 72% of agricultural land. Constitutional provision for land expropriation without compensation exists, but has never been implemented. So guys, when Julius Malema speaks about land, he is not inciting. He is actually not inciting violence. He is demanding the implementation of constitutional rights that the ANC government has refused to enforce for 3 decades. But here is where it gets interesting. Julius Malema has been saying these things for years. So why are they coming after him now?
You can see the party that is trusted by young intelligentsia, which doesn't dispatch food parcels. We're winning brains, Baba. We're winning brains, not food parcels, not through food parcels, through superior logic, the power of persuasion. There's no university where kids are not going crazy about the EFF. Nowhere. And that should tell you the EFF is the future of South Africa.
The leaders of the EFF are young. Those guys have their eye on the future of the country. Their main election, by the way, is not 2024. Their main election is 2029. And if you look at their trajectory, they have been growing. And polls are saying they will grow. Some are underestimating their growth around 11%. I think they could easily reach 15%. So if you are worried about or you're concerned about the future of South Africa, never discount the EFF, because those guys are building something for the future. On the other hand, I'm seeing another thing. Those who have money have understood what I'm talking about. What are they doing? They are trying to build an alternative future. That's why you see an investment in projects like Rise Mzansi. I mean, the money that, for example, the Oppenheimers they've declared have given to Rise Mzansi.
The timing tells you everything. During the 24 elections, the EFF won 10.8% of the votes. And in 29, the next coming general election, they are projected to win significantly more. They are the fastest growing political party in South Africa. And unlike the ANC, which has become comfortable with the neo-colonial structures, the EFF is calling for actual systemic change. EFF is proposing to nationalize mines, hence threatening foreign capital. They have also proposed for nationalization of banks, which threatens financial sector. They demanded for free education, and this already forced ANC to implement partially. If you look at the other side of political threats, the EFF exposed ANC corruption. I hope you all remember the widely nationalized Zuma, Ramaphosa scandals. On the other hand, youth support is shifting heavily from ANC to EFF, a coalition potential that could reshape South African politics. But guys, here is what makes Julius Malema truly dangerous to the South Africa's leadership. He is connecting South Africa's struggle to the broader Pan-African movement. He is also meeting with leaders like Ibrahim Traore. He is calling out Western neocolonialism by name. He is telling young Africans that the poverty they experience is not natural, but it is designed.
We need United States of Africa. We supported and will continue to support those ideals of brother leader Gaddafi. We are following in the footsteps of those leaders. We are not saying they were perfect, some of them, but they are a lot of teachings that come from our leaders in the continent which we can follow because we think they will unite us. This thing was the one thing called Africa. This was one thing. It was divided by colonizers. These borders are artificial borders imposed on us by colonizers. Why do you want to behave like you are owning colonizers' properties? These borders are colonizers' properties, they are not ours. Let us go back to African unity. We want one voice, one Africa. We must stop doing away with African hate, which was instilled in us by the colonizers. When you say, hey, there are too many Zimbabweans here, there are too many Nigerians here, hey, you are doing the work of the devil, which is to divide Africans. Be angry with Nigerians and South Africans for doing crimes, the same, Zimbabweans, the same way you are with South Africans who commit crimes. They must be treated the same. It must not be because it's a Nigerian, it's a more crime. If a Nigerian kills a person, that killing is twice. As if the murder by South African is lesser than a Nigerian murder. It's wrong. Crime is crime. Let's deal with it as crime. When it is a white person in South Africa, undocumented, he's called an investor. Not only a white person, including Indians and Chinese. These Guptas didn't have proper papers here. These Guptas didn't have proper papers. No one dared called them Kwerekweres. No one. But if it was my African brothers, we are going to be called Kwerekweres because they don't have papers. Self-hate. It must come to an end. If it means making the EFF lose votes for that, let it lose votes. Lose votes on principle. Not on political expediency of wanting to appeal. This country belongs to Africans in the same way Nigeria belongs to South Africans. Nigeria is South Africa, South Africa is Nigeria. We are Zimbabweans. We need to do away with this nonsensical idea that was imposed on us by colonizers, by Theresa May ancestors, that we must dislike each other. We must do away with that. Theresa May is coming here to make sure that we continue to hate each other. Look at what we are doing now. We are reclaiming our land in South Africa, saying our people must get the land inspired by our brothers in Zimbabwe. Namibia is following. Let the whole of African continent follow and reclaim our land. That's how we are going to gain our independence. And through the ownership of the continental land, we shall then have a true one South Africa. We are unable to unite because we are divided along colonial lines, Francophones and Anglophones. We need to do away with that. We need to love our African brothers in America when they are being slaughtered, in London when they are being slaughtered. They need to know that we love them here in South Africa. They remain our brothers. Love each other everywhere else where you find one another. Protect each other, Africans, because we are in the receiving end of capitalism. Capitalism inherently, it is racist. That's why it's targeting blacks everywhere else where blacks are found. So decolonizing Africa starts with simple things. Starts with doing away with apartheid, colonial symbols, and colonial way of doing things. We must, and even if it's not our generation, generations to come, we must have a language that unites Africans, like Swahili. If Swahili can be developed and it become a continental language, and then we do away with speaking to each other in English, because that's what colonizers did. Divided us, made sure that we don't have a common language to communicate amongst ourselves, and then we use their language to communicate so that they can hear everything we say. So we need to do away with that if we want Africa, which will be an equal competitor with the West and America.
And when an African leader starts building those connections, starts awakening that consciousness, history shows us what happens next. And guys, if you think I'm exaggerating, let's look at this pattern so that at least you can understand what I'm saying. Patrice Lumumba became Congo's first democratically elected prime minister. He wanted to use Congo's vast mineral wealth for Congolese people. Later on, he was assassinated within months, with CIA and Belgian involvement now confirmed by declassified documents. Let's move a little bit. Thomas Sankara transformed Burkina Faso in 4 years. He vaccinated millions of Burkinabes. He achieved food self-sufficiency, promoted women's rights. He challenged French neocolonialism directly. He was assassinated in a coup backed by France. He was then replaced by a puppet who ruled for 27 years. But we thank God for the current president. Muammar Gaddafi of Libya proposed the African gold dinar to replace the CFA franc and challenge the dollar. He wanted to challenge the dominance. He invested Libya's oil wealth in African development projects, and later on NATO intervened. He was killed, and Libya went from Africa's highest living standards to a failed state with open slave markets. And do you notice the pattern? Also, it's not about democracy or human rights. It's about the West supporting us dictators. It's about economic independence, not dependence. All we want as Africans is African resources staying in African hands. I think that's all we want, nothing else. And now Julius Malema is walking that same path, calling for economic freedom, building pan-African solidarity, threatening the system that has extracted Africa's wealth for centuries. The prison sentence is not punishment, it's a warning. It's the system saying, hey, Julius Malema, stay in your lane or we will remove you. That's what they're trying to say. So what does this mean for the Pan-African movement? Probably you can tell us in the comment section below. Thank you so much if you watched the clip up to this point. I appreciate your presence. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.